Hello, hello. Welcome to the Better Man Show, where I share my journey on becoming a better person. And it's a show suitable for both men and women, for sure. So, my name is BK. And obviously, if we're friends, you already know that. If you're not friends, later I'll drop a link. You can always follow me. And tonight, I'm going to talk about the story of a guy who raises horses. And I titled the show as What I Learned from a Racehorse and How We Can Be, and how it can help you become a class act or help us become a class act, right? So, but let's get some quick things out of the way. This is becoming a routine, right? So if we are not friends, follow me on Facebook or wherever I pop up because I'm also testing. Um, this show has some component of technical stuff where I test out live stream platforms, test out gear, and also live stream setups, right? So if you can help with that, that would be awesome as well. And because I'm testing on several platforms, drop a comment and tell us what platform you're on. I'm currently live on not just Facebook and YouTube, as well as some other platforms as well, just to put this live stream console through its paces, right? So hopefully that helps. And hopefully at the end, before the end of the show, before the 100-day challenge, I'm going to kind of give an overview and maybe that can help everyone as well. So one last thing to get out of the way. We are on day number 38 of a 100-day challenge. So exactly 38 days ago, I started a 100-day live stream challenge, and some of my friends told me to my face, "You are crazy." And some days I kind of do agree with them. But it was inspired by a person called Andy Frisella, who has something called a 75 Hard Challenge. Please go and find out more about what he does because it's absolutely fascinating as well. I'm not doing his challenge. I am just inspired by him and I started a 100-day challenge and now we're on day number 38, fast approaching the big 40 and fast approaching the halfway mark. So tonight, I kind of wanted to talk about the story of a guy who raises horses. And this is also kind of a extension from the past 3 days about finding content. And tonight's content is also motivated by words. I guess all along I've always been fascinated by words, by linguistic stuff. I credit that to my mom. My mom, while because of her poor, I mean, when she was growing up, she obviously had to work to support her siblings. They had a huge family, and during that time, she was actually born during World War II. And just a quick shout out to my mom. She's an absolute great cook, and I love all her home cooked dishes. It was always very nice to go home to have a warm meal, a home cooked meal whenever I was growing up. But I always felt that my mom would have been brilliant in school, but unfortunately she didn't have the chance to go to school, and so she can speak Malay, Chinese, some dialects, and a spattering of English quite well, you know. And I kind of think that I probably got my linguistic talent from her. So I want to just thank my mom because I'm also very fascinated. So anything that is like, I tend to zoom in on things that has certain linguistic elements to it. So today, the story that caught my eye was really about a guy who raises horses, and he actually tells of the difference between a horse that has class and another that doesn't have class. Now, so the thing that caught my attention or caught my ears was the story and obviously the word class. Now, so he has a slightly different definition of class, which I'm going to talk about. And he talks about how class can make a difference in a race between two horses. Now, initially, obviously, that story is a bit puzzling to me because, I mean, in the horse race, wouldn't you kind of assume that it's the fastest horse that wins. What has class got to do with it, right? What has whether a horse has class or not has to do with whether the horse can win the race or not. So it turns out that this particular horse breeder, he has a slightly different definition of the word class, which is also pretty interesting and pretty apt, I would say. So according to him, having class means to be able to call up or call upon reserved energy, right? So having class means that you are able to call up reserved energy. It is the ability to overcome any number of challenges during a race, right? Now, of course, hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from, right? I mean, we are all about this show is about becoming a better person, right? So becoming a class act, so to speak. Okay. So class is the ability to overcome any number of challenges during a race, right? And but yet it doesn't mean that we don't get tired, right? We don't get tired during a race, or in this case, we don't get tired in life or in our quest or in our pursuit for excellence in our career, our family, or anything, right? But it does mean that we do not show it on our faces, or we do not show it to every single person. In other words, we don't wear our suffering on our sleeves, right? So having class means that while it doesn't mean we don't get tired, it means we don't show it, right? And to this person, he also says that class doesn't mean that you are not tempted to quit. Okay? It's not that we are never tempted to quit. It just means that we actually never actually do. Right? We just do not quit. Right? And last but not least, class is truly important in the final yards of a race, because it really makes a difference when you can call up all that reserve energy. So I guess he is kind of associating the word class with another word that we probably would understand or quite we can associate with, which is perseverance, right? They do share very similar qualities, but somehow I prefer the way he has said it, right? And I guess that makes a lot of sense, because we hear this phrase, he is a class act, right? He is a class act. And in light of what we just talked about just now, how we described it, then it makes a lot of sense, because it describes exactly how it is like, right? So being able to call out reserve energy, never quitting, while we may feel tired, but we do not show it. We do not have to wear our suffering on our sleeves, and so on, right? So just wanted to show you, because I'm always attracted to stuff like this, words like this, right? So a class act, okay, a class act. Can you see this? I think you cannot see this. Hang on a minute. Okay, now you can see it. So a class act, an example of an outstanding quality of, by the way, this is one of my favorite dictionaries, Merriam-Webster. Okay, don't ask me why, I just like it more, okay? Of course, there are a lot of other good dictionaries as well, but this is one of my favorite ones. Definition of class act, an example of outstanding quality of prestige. She's a real class act on and off the soccer field, right? So it kind of resonates together with what we are talking about today. The fact that the difference between a with class and a horse without class, and a horse that is a class act and one that is not a class act. So this is one of the this is what I really wanted to share about, right? So I always gravitate towards things like that. And this was something I listened to in the morning, and it really caught my attention, and I just wanted to share with all of you, right? And just one other quick thing. This also popped up. I guess sometimes, when things happen together. So this is also something that popped up today. And it was shared by my brother, right? So, and I think this is something we could have, right? And yesterday we talked about kindness, right? So just because someone carries it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy, right? And it's just because someone is a class act and he doesn't show his suffering or his difficulties on his face. He demonstrates all the attributes of being a class act. Let's not assume that he has it easy. I think a lot of times when we look at someone who has succeeded in whatever field that he is in, we kind of think that they have it made. They are at the top of their career or whatever, and then we always say things that make light of how hard they worked to get there. Let's not do that, right? Because sometimes we hear things that people say, oh, he's so successful and so on. But a lot of times, I think people who aren't already successful now, it's like this. It's just because they carry it very well now. It doesn't mean that when the journey on up the path or up the mountain, they didn't have to carry a heavy load. So this is something that I wanted to share, because sometimes when we talk about people who are very successful, we kind of forget that they might have gone through a very hard time to get where they are as well, right? So tonight is a short one. I just wanted to share these two things, and hopefully that has helped you and benefited you. So again, if you are watching this from another platform, do let us know. Do let me know where you are watching this from, through a quick message. You can always leave a chat message. At the same time, those of you who have caught at least one other episode of this live stream, when we were young, there's this game where we play where you have two pictures left and right, and then they ask you to compare what has changed or what is different between the two pictures. There's only one difference. So simple puzzle for you tonight as well. What has changed in this live stream that I have not talked about, that I have not mentioned, but something has changed. I'm not sure whether you have picked it up, but if you have, then just drop me a comment and let me know. So thank you very much for joining me on day number 38. Tomorrow will be day number 39, and I will see you tomorrow.